Hello, everybody. Holly here, and today we're going to be talking about the Toronto Raptors and how lately they've been blowing out teams like the Warriors, perhaps how they blew them out by 53 points, and the Toronto Raptors how they blew them out by 20. So basically, the first game was the war was the Warriors game, which was played Saturday, April 3rd, 2021. And this game, the Warriors they didn't have Stephen Curry because he was out due to a sore tailbone, and the Raptors roster was fully healthy. And um, they were actually down at one point. They were down as many as 61 points, and in the first quarter, it was a close game. It was still close. They scored 26-27, Toronto leading, and then the second quarter, the second and third quarters where the margin comes in, where the Warriors score 16 points and the Toronto Raptors score 35 points in the second quarter, and then in the third quarter, the Golden State Warriors scored 14 points. Toronto scored 46 points. And in the fourth quarter, the Warriors scored 21 points and the Raptors scored 22 points. So looking at that, the Warriors never really had a lead in any of the quarters. It never scored above 30 points. The final score of that game was 77-130, and um and Pascal Siakam with the leading scorer with 36 points on um he scored 36 points on that day, which was the same day as his birthday. Um their highest scorer on the Warriors was Andrew Wiggins with 15 points. Um other players that helped out the Raptors were Gary Trent Jr., who scored 24 points, Chris Boucher with 10 points, OG Anunoby with 21 points, Malachi Flynn with 16 points. And other inact other inactive players on this Warriors team was Draymond Green and Klay Thompson. I forgot to mention them at the beginning. And a few players that were also not healthy and were not playing on the Raptors were Jalen Harris, Patrick McCaw, Kyle Lowry, Paul Watson, and Rodney Hood. And after the game, Coach Steve Kerr, this was the Warriors' third worst defeat in its history, and it's sixth in the past 7 games. And according to CNN, after the game, Steve Kerr said, "We just got destroyed. Not a whole lot to be said. Humiliating for everybody involved." Now we're going to talk about the Raptors versus the Cavaliers game. So this game, it you can call it a blowout, but looking at the score is not really. It kind of is a blowout, but it's not really a blowout. The score was 135-115. The Toronto Raptors won. Basically this game, the Raptors, the Raptors just did really, really good. Like looking at the scoreboard from each quarter, the Toronto Raptors scored 47 points. The Cleveland Cavaliers scored 26 points. And the second quarter, Toronto scored 40 points. Cleveland Cavaliers scored 28 points. And then the third quarter, it looked like the Cavaliers were going to come back, where the Toronto Raptors only scored 13 points that quarter, and the Cavs scored 29. But then the fourth quarter, Toronto didn't let up, and they scored 35 points in that fourth quarter, and the Cavs scored only 32, which came to a result of 135 to 115. In this game, Gary Trent came out with the career high 44 points on 17 for 19 shooting, which is very, very efficient. Their Cavaliers leading scorer was Colin Sexton with 29 points on 10 for 20 shooting, and it was it was also Michael Flynn, Malachi Flynn, who also had a career high of 20 points that night, and OG Anunoby also contributed with 15 points. And on the Cavaliers, other players that helped contribute was Kevin Love with 18 points, Darius Garland with 19 points, Dean Wade with 14 points, Isaiah Hartenstein with 12 points, and Taurean Prince with Taurean Prince with 10 points. But the Cavaliers couldn't get it done fully. And so the reason why I would say this was kind of a blowout was because the Raptors had a total of 87 points at halftime, which according to the NBA website is a franchise high. And Gary Trent scored 25 points at halftime, shooting 9 for 10 from field and 5 for 6 from 3. And at halftime, both Colin Sexton and Darius Garland both had 11 points each. And that's pretty much it. This game the Raptors didn't have Kyle Lowry, Fred VanVleet, or Pascal Siakam. So they had three of their main stars out this game, and they were still able to get it done. So that'll be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you on the next one.